also with Wednesdays, which turned out to be pretty popular, and I plan to continue that on in the spring as well, on Wednesdays.
I'm known for foul language, dirty jokes. This year we're going to try and get the Burning Man. If you don't know what it is, please Google it or look it up. Also the MR340, world's longest endurance race. It's right here in your back door. Give it a shot. We're going to try and do a rainbow gathering. Anybody that's new is going to go on the newbie's lottery float trip, but again, there'll be a lot of violence, foul language, and dirty jokes. And we're going to keep hiking every full moon, and I encourage you to come out. It's a good time.
My name is John, and a lot of you are like, well, who the heck's that interesting guy before my life? I unfortunately went out and got a job in the business and had to take my weekends out, so I apologize. I didn't get to see too much of it. But I want to thank each and every one of you who came out this summer, that came out for the Moonlight Ramble. You know, I know that we had a lot of folks in this room show up for that. We dressed like pirates. We had a hell of a good time. And going into the upcoming year, of course, we'll probably do our Tuesday night bike ride. I'll be a big part of that. And just anything else that comes down the pike. Thank you.
Hi, I'm a newer organizer too. I do mainly bike riding. One of the things I will plan on doing this coming, when the weather's better, obviously, to hook up with the Madison County Trails across the river. I actually did that ride, kind of checked it out, and those trails are great over there. I don't know if anybody's done those yet, but I will definitely plan that. And I actually talked with some other people in SLAG a while ago about hikes, but hikes are people who are kind of newer hikers, not particularly good, and that would be me. But I can, we can stumble through a hike, I'd say. So I'll be real more active on the other side of the door.
Hi, I'm Neil. I mostly do hikes, long hikes, night hikes, hard hikes, every kind of hike. Occasional float trips. I do whitewater rafting trips. This year we went to the Gully and had a phenomenal time. Next year I'm hoping to do 3 trips, one to the Gully, one out to Colorado, and possibly one to North Carolina. Those are a lot of fun. I also do our zip lining events, which I think I've pretty much saturated the group with that for this year. But next year we'll do some more for people who haven't already done it. And I got a couple little possible interesting things up my sleeve for next year that I'm not going to tell you about, but if they show up, I think you'll like them.
My name is Cindy, and I mostly do kayaking trips. Woo, you're mean. I'm looking at later, so. Anyway, I mostly do kayaking trips and some mountain biking and some kid-friendly trips I'm going to try to organize next year. Some of the new things that I want to do that this group hasn't done before is maybe some makeup lessons. But next year I would like to put on the calendar maybe for May or June, floating the Kings River and doing a multi-sport weekend, and that's in Arkansas, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Some kid-friendly things like camping at Litchfield. We did that 2 years ago, and last year was on the calendar, but something interfered with that. And Neil and I are going to work on together either the 11 point or the Jack's Fork, which I had to work last year. And I guess that's about it.
Hi, my name's Bob. I do some of the biking things, put on some of the bike rides, kind of piggybacking on TrailNet, and a couple of times on the Youth High School Organization, High School International, whatever the official name is. So you'll see some of those on the calendar this summer. Might try to put on a few closer in, one-day float trips, maybe on the Merrimack or something like that. Also, I've got a couple of ice skating events on the calendar right now. We did a couple of those last year. They were pretty well received, and I've been asked to put those on again. So I've got this evening, next Saturday, and I'll be putting on several more as the holiday season progresses. Also, there's some people in the room that kind of want to informally go on out to Hidden Valley for skiing, and a couple of them have asked me to put those on the calendar as well. So maybe on some of the Wednesday nights you'll see a skiing event for Hidden Valley, and possibly the late Friday night and Saturday morning events as well. So there'll be some things for you to choose from there too. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Mo. I'm pretty tame compared to the rest of the group, but I do like to hike. I'm really into mountain biking now.
No, it's fine, John.
Anyway, I like to mountain bike and hike. I really like the MR340. I don't race, but I do like to do the support, so we'll be looking for a group of people to come out and help with that this year. I think there's probably a handful of people that came out for it last year, and everybody that came had a really great time. You know, you're sitting there a lot, but it's still a lot of fun to see all the kayakers come in. So hope most of the people out there can come help us fill up that slot for next year. And I like to do trail running too.
Does it to everybody. I'm Gary. I'm pretty much a jack of all trades as well. Generally, I do mostly rock climbing on the calendar, but I don't even know what I'm going to post next, so I just got to keep an eye open. With Jan, I'll be helping to organize the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and we're not even going to tell you what that means until you sign up for it. Also in the spring, I do a third weekend in April. We do the Spring Blossom Float, which is a lot of times the first chance that people get out of the house after the winter time. We'll rent out a couple of group campgrounds at Merrimack State Park. And it's a multi-sport event. I post it more for the float trip on Saturday, but there's trails all over the park, and we get other organizers to get involved and post trail hikes during the day for people that don't have their own boats to float. And a day like today, and I will post it probably in January or February, I would like to be out on the river floating. We'll do a wintertime float for the not-so-weak of heart. It's all about preparation. I know last year we had a gal that went on the float, and I always post to make certain that everybody has a change of clothes with them in a dry bag, and 10 minutes into the float she flipped over and got soaking wet, and I said, "Did you bring a dry bag of clothes?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, where is it?" She said, "It's back in my car." So, you know, preparation is pretty important. Another event that a group of organizers put on that nobody's mentioned yet is in the springtime, we do a kayak demo days, and I know Morrow is not here, and I know we're going to be hoping Sandy will help us out again this year if we do it, where we'll go up to Creve Coeur Lake and have people that own their own boats bring their boats up, and we'll teach people that are interested how to pack your kayak for an overnight or a weekend trip, because most of the trips we do are weekend-long trips where we'll camp out in the wilderness, and you have to take everything you own with you. So sometime in, I think we did it in May last year, we'll take up a beach at Creve Coeur Lake and do a demo days, and people can come up and learn how to pack a kayak, and then we'll throw all the boats out on the river or on the lake and let everybody try out different kayaks if they're interested in buying one. But again, I do a lot of different things, and bike rides, rock climbs, hikes. So just keep your eye on the calendar. There's always something for everybody to do. So, without further ado,
and I'm Perry. I mountain bike, I kayak, I hike. I like to do it all. Some of the events that I've got planned for next year will be the pirate float on the Illinois River. That's always a lot of fun. I'll probably do a full moon float on the Illinois also, a bunch of other kayak trips. The MR340, which you've heard of a couple times today, that's going to be a big event for us this year. 2 races ago, there were 4 of us, and 4 of us from SLAG who survived that. About a third of the people don't make it through that. So 4 of us made it 2 races ago. This year, there's about 15 of us who did it, including a couple records. And hopefully we'll get a bunch more next year. We'll have to have 3 groups involved in that. There's going to be the racers, the Klondike checkpoint. I think Mo's going to be able to handle that. And we'll need a group of people following us along the race too. Other events I've got planned, the Tour de Donuts is a grueling race in Illinois. 30 miles of hard bicycling, and for every donut you eat, they take 5 minutes off your time. And so, like, this year, I ate 20, and I was rocking. I was awfully proud of myself until somebody walked up and said, I ate 23. Bastard, I think I cheated. Other events we've got planned, about 2 years ago, we had a trivia night. We're going to have to do another one. I don't look forward to that, but we'll do it anyway. And the reason we need to do that is because we're working on a mountain bike festival. The Midwest Mountain Bike Festival travels around. It was here for 2 years, 2005, 2006, and then it went to Peoria for a couple years, then Grand Rapids, and now it's going to Iowa, and we're not going to wait around for it to come back here, so we're just going to do our own. And but it's going to take a little money up front. And this is not a SLAG event. This is a community event. This is all mountain bikers are going to benefit from this. But we're going to have to be the ones who do the work behind the scenes. Was there any other events I wanted to talk about? I guess not. That's enough. Yeah, I do a lot of float trips. Floatzilla and a bunch of others. So that's all I wanted to talk about. And I'll pass the mic back to John to continue with the festivities.
Thank you very much, Farrah. Now, of course, as you all well know, the reason you're here is because SLAG, as we affectionately know it, is an awesome group. There's hiking, there's climbing, there's biking, there's canoeing. It's infallible how much this happens. And a lot of planning and a lot of effort goes into these events. And even more important, the talk afterwards happens, where you talk about what we did. Now, one thing that is never planned is when something goes wrong. And that's what a lot of the discussions happen about, like what happened during that. Now, some of them rise above the norm. You know, the water came up 3 feet, but we all survived. Sometimes something happens and you're like, how in the heck? And that's something that we did last year. It's called the Darwin Award. And this year I'd like to announce the SLAG Darwin Award winner. That gentleman, I was on this event. We were on a float trip. It was actually a real fun trip. I think we had, about 130 boats out that day. And there was a simple game. Almost every man in this room has played football at some time in his life, or at least a game of catch. And so the basic premise is the ball gets tossed back and forth, people catch it, they throw it back to the people on the other side. Somehow, some way in this simple child's game, this got out of hand. And what ended up happening is the emotion was running high, things were really wild, and somebody ends up with a head wound. And so, of course, we're not just somewhere, we're not in town where, the ambulance comes. No, we're out, 30 miles out in the woods. So, not only did they send ambulances out for this, they sent like a water rescue crew. There was at least 7 black vehicles involved. I mean, the FEMA funding that went into Andrew Gould's rescue was absolutely incredible. Andrew is not a dumb guy. He's not. He is not here tonight. So to accept this award, I would like to bring up his friend Tony. And believe me, there's another backstory if you get Tony drunk enough to tell you about what else Andrew's done this year. But Tony?
I was actually trying to get Andrew on the speakerphone here, but he's not taking my calls anymore.
What? I got a volunteer for you. I talked about it.
Okay, sure. I will graciously accept this on Andrew's behalf. The day before he dove headfirst into that pile of rocks, he actually lost my $2,000 mountain bike that I loaned him, so, I didn't feel all that bad about it, but he came into the shop a couple weeks later, and I rang him up for $2,000 espresso, so we're even now.